head coach of the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, with the double overtime win against Clemson. Next up will be Boston College on Saturday at Boston College. Coach, congratulations. Have you looked at the game film?
Oh, yeah. Broke that down yesterday, Dan. We're already on to BC to steal a Bill Belichick line.
How long did it take you to pronounce DJ Uiagalelei's name?
Still haven't got to the Uwe part.
You just called him DJ, or that number 5?
That really, really good quarterback. I told Dabo, I said, I'd like to have your problems to have both those quarterbacks. I don't know how they get any better with either one of them. I mean, they're just two outstanding quarterbacks.
How do you prepare differently, or did you prepare differently?
You know, the system of offense kind of, is what it is. I mean, they've been running the same, whether Deshaun Watson was the quarterback or, Trevor or DJ. You're really defending the system, and then the player makes it, obviously go. And both of them are just outstanding players.
I didn't know if you picked your poison with Travis Etienne. It's either I'm going to let him be a runner or I'm going to let him be a pass receiver. What was the defensive philosophy?
Well, it's a little bit of both. I mean, you can't, you're really in a position where matching him up one-on-one with your linebacker is not a good matchup. So we had to keep a safety in a position where he could get some help over the top as well. So, obviously you could tell by our game plan, Travis Etienne was a guy that we were focused on. They have other weapons that certainly hurt us. And that's really the nature of playing the number one team in the country. They have more ways to beat you than just one guy. But we felt like Travis Etienne was the guy that we really had to focus on.
The late fumble by Ian Book, and I don't know, as a coach, do you need to say something? Is it sometimes better to not say something to the player who just coughed up the football?
His resume, does not get the kind of scrutiny that it should. He leads us to so many late comebacks and wins. As somebody that's 27-3 as a starter, you have to win a lot of games late. And so I thought it was appropriate at that time to go up and say, hey, you're going to win a game for us here. We're going to need you to do that again. And so I just thought the timing was appropriate to give him some positive reinforcement at that time. And, again, he did what he's done so many times for us. He led a 91-yard drive with under 2 minutes in the game to get the tie.
Replay is killing the game, Coach.
Oh, tell me about it. You're preaching to the choir.
How did we get here?
This would be a long interview if we really wanted to get into it. I think we have really overanalyzed the game to the extent that, everybody wants to be perfect. And there's nothing perfect about any sport. It still has that element of you're going to miss a couple here and there. You just hope you don't miss them big. And I think we're trying to be perfect, and you can't be perfect in the game. And perfection is slowing this game down to a point where it is absolutely brutal.
If I said to the coaches, you vote, you can have replay or no replay.
I would say, can we just have replay on scoring plays, where they can be absolutely, game changers. But to be nitpicking every single play is just look. There were so many stoppages in that game. I felt bad for the guy, the poor kids kicking the extra points in overtime. I mean, I could hear myself breathing in overtime. There's nobody in the stands, and those kids are kicking extra points, and they're stopping the game for 4 minutes to replay again and again and again. It was, it's got to change. It was unfortunate.
Okay, the fans come on the field. Now, where were all those fans during the game? Are those all in the stands, or are those on campus?
Yeah, no, they were in. No, they were in the. No, they we're not that good. No, they were the fans in the stands.
Okay.
And look, our job, obviously, in that situation is to do the best we can to keep them from going on the field. We protected, Clemson. I had alluded to my team that when we win this game, that they're gonna like most fans throughout the country, they're gonna come onto the field. It was their last home game because we close down school next week. It was really their last home game because they won't be here for the December 5th game against Syracuse, excuse me. So they took the opportunity to come on the field, and we did the best we could under those circumstances.
Yeah, it reminded me of Justin Turner in the World Series, that emotion overtakes common sense.
Yeah, look, again, would we have liked it to have been different? Yes. All those students were tested earlier in the week for COVID. Again, it's hard to stop students coming over the fence. We don't have all the personnel to make that a situation where nobody can come over the fence and onto the field. But again, hopefully we got through it without any ill effects.
He's Brian Kelly, Notre Dame head coach, fresh off the win over Clemson at BC coming up next Saturday. When you face Clemson, and in your mind, I guess you have to be prepared to face them again in the ACC title game, do you put everything out there? Like, you want to win you needed to win this game. How much do you reveal of your game plan, playbook, in a game like that and try to hold something back if you meet them in the ACC title game?
Well, Dan, I think it now becomes a game of adjustments, right? It's what you did in the game and what they did defensively, and each team now is looking at how are they going to make adjustments. For example, what wrinkles will we have in our protection? What are they going to do differently that they did in the red zone against us? So I think this is, if we do in fact play each other, it'll be much more about what adjustments will you make to your game plan, more so than anything else in the second matchup, if in fact we're lucky enough to get there.
Who does Trevor Lawrence remind you of?
Oh, man. I mean, he has the athletic ability to run like any of the great running quarterbacks that we've seen out there. He's just a hybrid player. He's got great size, arm talent. He could look. I mean, I think he's that unique of a player that he is the number one pick in the draft because he's hard to compare. Like, it's easy. Like, when you ask me about other players, I can immediately give you a name of a player and say he's like this.
Yeah.
It's hard to compare him to somebody because he's got great athletic ability, but nobody has the length and nobody has, the similar traits that he has. I just think he's a guy that doesn't come around very long. Very often.
Reminds me of Andrew Luck.
Well, he's got the makeup of an Andrew Luck. Andrew, as you know, was bigger and thicker and stronger, from that standpoint, much more of a pocket guy. I think Luck is going to be seen in the NFL as a guy with great escapability, and they're going to move him around a little bit. You'll see him run as well.
You always hear this. There's a big win, and then you got next week. And then everybody says, oh, there's going to be a letdown. So how do you tell your kids, don't let down against BC?
Yeah. So, what's a letdown? A letdown is not living up to the standards that we have set here for the last 4 years, right? I mean, so it's been the consistent application of our process. So all of a sudden we're going to go away from what has been consistent for us. I just, our guys are too smart for that. They know how to prepare. We'll go back out on the practice field and we'll prepare the right way and play a very gritty, tough, well-coached Boston College team. And look, we know the history. Last time Notre Dame beat a number one team, they played BC and lost. So we get all that. We read the newspapers. We know the history clips. So our guys are cognizant of it. They'll go out, practice hard, and they'll prepare the right way.
Coolest thing in your office is what?
I have a surfboard on my ceiling.
Because?
Well, who would ever have a surfboard in South Bend? I mean, when parents come into an office, you got to have something that's a little bit different to talk about. So if you come in the office of Notre Dame's head coach and you look up and there's a surfboard, you got to say, wow, this is a little bit different in South Bend.
Well, Lake Michigan can get a little turbulent there, but
yeah, that's true. But I'm trying to compare. I know Harbaugh doesn't have a surfboard in his office.
He's got other things to worry about in his office there.
All right. I'm not touching that.
Yeah, smart. Well done. Hey, congrats on the win. Good luck against BC. Thank you, Coach.
All right, take care, Dan.
That's Brian Kelly, Notre Dame head coach at BC, coming up this weekend. They move up from number 4 to number 2